my name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about data privacy and nudge technology. So nudge technology is an offshoot of nudge theory. So nudge theory is a method of communicating with individuals in a way to influence their choices or behavior. So for example, nudge theory, for example, let's say if someone's taking a test or whatever, electronic test, and they take the test, and based on their answers, if they do well, they may get more positive reinforcement as a result of that, and possibly more suggestions in the future that will help them make maybe a better decision. So we see nudge theory in politics, in advertising. So this is very popular in kind of behavioral type of advertising. But the issue with nudge when it's put into a technology is that if organizations are using information that they've gleaned about people, especially if it's sensitive information, they're concerned that companies may misuse or abuse this information and try to nudge people or try to influence their behavior or influence their choices in a way that isn't as transparent as it should be. So, people are starting to see more talk about nudge technology and like the influence that they're having on people. One popular thing that has come up recently that's called out nudge technology quite clearly is the UK's age-appropriate design code. So that design code says that companies shouldn't use nudge technologies for minors or maybe children under 18. A lot of times, depending on the age of the child, there has to be a consent from a parent, or there may be situations where they're concerned that technology companies to maybe advertise or sell products may try to influence maybe a younger person or even an older person in that regard. But using technology to kind of either infer things about people or to influence them in some way may end up being a violation of certain data privacy regulations, especially if they're using information that they've inferred about someone or information that they've gleaned from sensitive data or personal data that a person may have given an organization. So it gives them kind of an unfair advantage if they can influence someone based on maybe information that they know or they infer. So I think that we're going to start to see a lot more talked about nudge technology in regulations and in situations where people are sort of trying to cultivate these codes and frameworks related to data privacy. Because I think for data privacy in the future, the key will be transparency. So if people are being influenced in some way that they're not clear on, nudge technology or the way that people, companies implement it may run afoul of privacy regulations in the future. So I hope to see more talk about nudge technology, not just in the UK age-appropriate design code, but also for people who are not minors, because all of us can be influenced, and we want to know, what are the algorithms doing, what is prompting kind of these changes, and what types of behaviors are these applications or apps trying to do in a way that may not be as transparent and as evident as people want it to be, and also make sure they have the proper consent mechanisms in place for whatever choices that people decide to make with their data. That's it. Thank you.